Williamson, not too bad. This is a great piece. The woke see no evil and nothing but evil. How can you see no evil and nothing but evil? I'm going to get to a screenshot from this piece again, talking about again. So we highlight and ground, we're talking about how this movement by the left is not based in logic at all. It is based in the use of Stalin's wiping out of hundreds of millions of lives. And all of the tyrants throughout human history is, of course, tragically illogical. But they don't use, that's just power for them. It's just a search for power. The illogic of the left is right in front of us. In this piece, I'm going to get to the screenshot in a second. They talk about this weird conundrum the left and cancel culture finds itself in, where they simultaneously expose and highlight the sins of the United States, slavery, Jim Crow, the use of the N-word throughout history. Expose it and highlight the sins while simultaneously obliterating any evidence of them from our history. It doesn't make any sense from the piece. It's great. Listen to every word of this. He talks about the dispute over the existence of black Confederate soldiers as it being a clear instance of how radical progressives in their war on America have been pursuing two contradictory aims at once. Listen, this is where it's really important. It says, first, they've worked tirelessly to expose what they view as the fundamentally and indelibly racist character of America from its inception. That's the purpose of the 1619 Project and subsequently developed by the New York Times Magazine. And they use it to rewrite, edit, and otherwise, quote, correct the history of the American Republic. Second, they've sought to sanitize America's cultural achievements and thereby satisfy the moral demands of the present time, all for the good of future generations. Goes on to talk about this illogic in the next paragraph, where he just says, I wrote one line down. The left is spreading fantasies while condemning realities. How are we going to learn from our past and our flaws, which is supposedly the left and cancel culture's goals, right? This is what they tell you. They're all for equality and inclusion, anti-racism. By wiping out examples of racism in the past we can use to learn from. Can someone explain to me for a minute how that works? How you're going to expose and highlight the sins of our past while demanding they be obliterated, textbooks obliterated, language rewritten, Huckleberry Finn rewritten, and sanitized. Sanitize it so you never see it for future generations who are expected to learn from the sins of past generations. How exactly does that work again? But if you're an idiot on the left, that makes perfect sense. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about logic. The left, by its nature, is illogical. Logic is used in a meritocracy, where reason and common sense and hard work are used to get people to the top. When you're a loser who can't function in a meritocracy, you have to get power other ways. You have to manipulate. You covet power. You see it every day around you. You see wealth, you see authority, and you can't gain that because you're just too stupid and lazy to do it on your own. That's why you're a leftist. You're immune to facts and logic. So you have to find another way. And the best way I've ever heard this summed up is in the amazing book, Revolt Against the Masses by Fred Siegel. This is an actual screenshot from my copy. Andrew Wilkow and I both love this book. It's an amazing book. Last time we spoke about it, it shot up on the Amazon book charts. Fred Siegel, Revolt Against the Masses. It's about the left's centuries-long war against the middle class. Dan, the left? The left's for the little guy. No, it's not. The left is about canceling the little guy. The left hates you. And this part, I'm going to read you this paragraph from the book because it's worth your time. It's about how the left, again, can't use logic and reason because they're too stupid and lazy. They'll never get and achieve power that way, so they get it through manipulation and force because they feel like they've been cheated. They're in their mommy's basement. They're eating Malamars and roasting marshmallows because they have nothing better to do. Malamars are great, by the way, especially with milk. Absolutely terrific. They refuse to. They feel a sense of entitlement. Wait, I'm a leftist. I should be the CEO of a major company because I'm a leftist. No, you're just too stupid and lazy to do it. So they feel this sense of entitlement, and capitalism and a meritocracy and entitlement will never go together. From Siegel's book, this is amazing. Read this book. It's really fantastic. He says, quote, "The contributors to civilization in the United States, many of them Harvard men, were driven by resentment. The so-called lost generation," explained Malcolm Cowley, "was extremely class conscious. Like Bourne, they had a, quote, vague belief in aristocracy and the possibility of producing real aristocrats through education," Cowley said. "They went to Europe to free themselves from the organized stupidity and to win their deserved place in the hierarchy of intellect. They felt that their status in America's business culture was grossly inadequate, given their obviously exceptional intelligence and extraordinary talent. Their simmering anger at what they saw as the mediocrity of democratic life led them to pioneer the now commonplace stance of blaming society for their personal failings. Animated by a patrician spirit, they found the leveling egalitarianism of the United States an insult to their sense of self-importance." Man, you ain't going to see it ever written or said any better than that. The leveling egalitarianism of having to work for a living is an affront to the cancel culture liberals' delicate sensibilities. They believe they should be European-style aristocrats, that their education entitles them to all of the benefits of living in an advanced society without having to work for any of it. Their urban studies teacher in college told them how smart they were. And when they acknowledged woke culture and cancel culture, their urban studies teacher gave them an A in their paper, despite having to ever critically think about the consequences of that. And now they graduate and they find themselves working as a low-level bureaucrat in a Fortune 500 company, making $30,000 a year, and they're offended by this. So they have to get power other ways. So they align with BLM and Antifa and other movements, and they get power through manipulation and cancel culture. And it fulfills their need to escape the leveling egalitarianism of an actual meritocracy where you have to work for a living. Because now they're celebrated, just like CEOs are, just like Mr. Galligan will be amongst his leftist cancel culture friends. He'll be an icon forever. I'm not sure he's the icon he thinks he is, though. I can't get in Mr. Galligan's head, but I'm going to tell you in the future, I think he's going to deeply regret this. Really. I can't imagine any company outside of the wokest of the woke who would look at this and see this as some positive characteristic. Who knows? Maybe they will. But leftists will celebrate it, I assure you.
All right, Dan, I can't help but remember the rioter getting in the cop's face and going, "You've never even been to college."
Well, what about
remember that part?
Well, what?
Yeah.
Not only that one.
Yeah.
What about the one getting in the black cop's face, dropping the N-bomb on it? Remember,
Dan,
these are not rational, sane people, folks. Again, there's no logic in getting in the face of a black police officer, dropping the N-bomb on him while simultaneously claiming you're the woke one. But logic doesn't matter. They'll be celebrated by the Antifa friends. Good point, though, either way.